All right, let's start off with, well, first of all, we've got a guest here with us to take us through some of the dailies here this morning. If you just take a look, we've got Dr. Bisi Deji-Folutile, who is the former editor of Punch newspaper and now publishes FrankTalkNow. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning.
Let's start off with New Telegraph and Buhari swears in Ariwola as acting CJN as Tanko resigns, cites ill health. Let me just read the riders as well. Clean all mess in judiciary. NBA tells Ariwola ex-CJN's resignation soft landing. Described to a source. 2023, don't make Nigerians lose confidence in judiciary. President warns Supreme Court judges. Lord Tanko for strengthening democracy, confers GCON on him. LPPC shortlists 129 lawyers for elevation to SAN. So all of this happening in the judiciary. That was the big news yesterday as well.
Very big indeed. I remember yesterday morning when the news broke that the former CJN resigned. A lot of people didn't believe it. And they were like, no, are you sure this is true? And coming a few days after just about 14 justices, complained about issues of welfare and all of that. So people don't really know why the former CJN resigned.
They don't think it's just ill health?
Well, you just wonder how come the coincidence seems to be high. How come he didn't resign probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Hence all the riders, and the fact that NBA is saying you're just clean the mess, because there is a mess. Really, if you notice what happened during the CJN Tanko's tenure, has never happened in Nigeria. For justices to come up like a trade union, so to say, to write to the point of writing a petition.
Even though they say it was leaked. It
was leaked, yes, to the point of being leaked, to the media. So for me, it's big news, and the fact that a new acting CJN was sworn in almost immediately made it look as if, was it?
That means they already, I think maybe in some quarters it was expected.
Oh, yeah, something like that. So to Nigerians, it will come as a shock.
Yeah. But then look at this at the bottom strip. Tension as Ansaru terrorists ban political activities in parts of Kaduna, abduct office-bound DPO. Zamfara governor can't order CP to issue license. CBS says only president instruct military. That goes. But this part where Ansaru terrorists banning political activities in parts of Kaduna. Is this how this thing starts?
Well, I think Kaduna is far becoming something else. If you notice that a lot of killings have been going on in Kaduna of recent, and I think for the terror group that is talking about ban on political activities, it's just like taking it to Kaduna State. It's been on. They've been saying a lot of things about government meeting their demands and all of that. So for Kaduna now, for them to pin down Kaduna and to say there is not going to be any political activity, it goes a long way to show that Kaduna is far becoming an insecure state. And the abduction of a DPO.
Who was going to the office?
I don't know.
But quite a number of people had been saying, even though in hush-hush tones, that there's a group of people who don't want elections to hold, general elections to hold. And then this headline comes. So could they be testing the waters for some reason?
It's possible. You know, I told you that it's just like taking it to Kaduna is just a mini show, so to say, because these people have been making different kinds of demands on government and all of that. So it is not impossible that they could be testing waters and to know if, you know, they can actually prevent they can actually wreak a more general havoc, even though they've been doing so. They've been doing a lot on Nigeria. Remember that the passengers of the train that was abducted in that were abducted in Abuja, they are still in detention. They've not been released. So you can see that they are really testing the might of government. And for Kaduna State, I think they are mounting pressure on the Kaduna State government, probably because of the governor's stand on ransom and all of that, you know. So they are really trying to let him know that, look, we are very powerful. I don't envy the governor, though, because he's been under a lot of pressure. More so when he's not even a governor in the northeastern part of the country, where we know that we have these bandits and all these terrorists operating. Kaduna is in the northwest, and relatively, that should be a safer place.
You have a lot of military formations in
Kaduna,
where you think this kind of things can never happen.
Can never happen, but unfortunately, this is what you see.
And then there's one more. Organ donor claim. Ekweremadu wife dragged NIMC others to court. The court fixes July 1 for hearing. So it keeps happening thick and fast, this story. Who knows?
Well, look at the Guardian newspaper. Seems looks like maybe all the papers are going to compare notes this morning.
Yeah.
Amid rift, Mohammed bows out. Ariwola becomes CJN. That's the lead of the Guardian newspaper. Look at the riders. Buhari swears in Ariwola as acting CJN, confers GCON on Mohammed, warns judiciary against losing confidence of Nigerians. I will not fail Nigerians, Ariwola assures. Access to justice hails CJN's resignation. NBA links CJN's resignation to rumbling in Supreme Court and several others you'll find right there. Well, that's that story. That's a rider on the front page of the New Telegraph. It's a major one on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Right under the nameplate, you don't have such powers. Irabo falls Matawale on arms bearing. That story is on page 6. Well, that story is not likely to die down anytime soon.
I don't think so. I don't think so. More so when we know that there is no, right now in Nigeria, there is no constitutional provision that empowers citizens to carry arms. But out of frustration, out of whatever, the governor came out to say, well, you people, you just have to defend yourself and just carry arms and attack those who are planning to attack you. I mean, and you know, you don't give power by words of mouth. You can't say because you are the governor, therefore you can just order your people to carry arms when it is not legalized. So you're about telling the governor that you don't have such powers, and truly he doesn't have such powers. If the governors want citizens to carry arms, they know what to do. They should go through the legislation. They should lobby the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, first of all, so that we can know that it will be in Nigeria's constitution that Nigerians have the power to carry arms and ammunition to defend themselves and all of that. But for me, I think all of this telling people to carry arms is like trying to put your responsibility on people, because the job of securing lives and properties lies in the government, and you cannot just say because you are overwhelmed, then you now transfer that responsibility to the populace, asking them to go carry arms and ammunition. A lot of things have to do with even defending yourself. Have they been trained? Do they know how to use guns and all of that? So it goes beyond just being overwhelmed. I think the governors should just do what is needed.
Well, there are those who have also drawn parallels with, hey, it's election year, and then you're asking, I mean, anyway.
Exactly.
As the Guardian newspaper this morning, Malfoy.
Well, let's look at Daily Trust for you. They also have that lead story, how Tanko Mohammed was forced to resign as CJ, and that's what they have on the front page for you as a lead story. So while you find all of the fact that the former CJN has bowed out and there's a new CJN on the seat, Daily Trust is giving you the how, you know, what went on behind the scenes. Intrigues that led to ouster. Ariola takes over in acting capacity. I'll not fail Nigeria, new CJN, will help clean the Origin stable. That's from the NBA. So page 4 will give you all of the details. They also have stories that you might have seen before. Ansari terrorists ban political activities in Kaduna, beat residents. Military rejects Zamfara's call for citizens to bear arms. It's on page 2. But look at this very disturbing one. Lassa fever kills 158 in 24 states in 6 months. So over a period of 6 months, we've lost 158 people in 24 states as a result of Lassa fever. And we're in the middle of the rainy season, and it's not usually when we will get Lassa fever cases. Are we paying any attention to what is happening in the health sector and what the NCDC is reporting to us?
I don't think we are paying enough attention. If you look at that case of Lassa fever, for instance, it's been on and on. It's not just something that is happening now. Then you ask us, what have we really done to prevent this from happening again and again? We can't really say anything. So a whole 130-something people dying within 6 months. You just realize that a lot of things are killing Nigerians. They are either dying of insecurity or health challenges and all of that. And this is just Lassa fever. When you pick another disease, for example, you will find out that the number is also high and high. I think, generally speaking, we focus so much attention on issues of insecurity in this country, and it will appear as if we are leaving some other important sectors not well attended to. You hear a lot of talks on so amounts being voted into buying warships, equipment to fight this, to fight that, but you don't get to hear much about how much is being voted into the health sector from time to time to actually solve the problem of health challenges in this country. So it's really a terrible thing. It's terrible.
Indeed. I'm just, you know, I mean, what you've said is really apt. The fact that we're not paying a lot of attention to health challenges and how there's been a lot of focus on security. But another story, and maybe other stories that have been occupying our time, is politics. Look at it. They have a strip at the bottom here. What I discussed with Obasanjo on 2023 elections. That's from Ango Abdullahi. That story is on page 12 of the paper. Ango Abdullahi has been speaking, but we also heard recently President Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, speaking again, and the PDP reacting, saying, former President, please keep quiet about our presidential candidate, or otherwise. Will this feud, this perceived feud between the former president and his former vice president, who's now the presidential candidate of the PDP, do you think it will ever end?
Honestly, I don't even understand the feud, because in 2015, it was the same former president Obasanjo that endorsed again his VP then, saying that some of the things he spoke about him, this and this, and now he's saying something else again. So I don't think it will ever end. I think it has to do with the interest of these gladiators at every point in time. So they bring out whatever weapon they can use to further their interest at any point in time. If the former president feels that, well, this time around I need to support my VP, he says some positive things about him. And when he thinks that probably he has another interest that he wants to protect, he probably goes around to say other things. I want to say that there has been a lot of inconsistency in the comments that the former president has been passing on his VP. And this time around that he said that, you know, that the PDP is giving him 48 hours to withdraw his statements on their presidential candidates. That one will make you laugh, because I don't even know the power that PDP has over former President Obasanjo that will make him or force him to recount a statement. And mind you, this is not just a statement. Some of these things are even written in a book. So how do you recount what is already written? So I guess all of them are just, they are entertaining us in this political era, and let's just keep ourselves entertained. Though some of the entertainments might not really be funny. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll take a look at leadership next. Also, the big story for them is the CJN matter. And so you could see right there, Ariola is new CJN as Tanko quits 18 months to retirement. And then that bit about PDP to Obasanjo, leave our presidential candidate alone or else. So they will expose him. I'm sure many people saying, look, please, forget about this or else. Just do it. Let's see what you want to do. I wonder because him and the PDP candidate, they were together. So exactly. What could they link to him that will not be linked to the VP? So it remains to be seen, I guess. So you never can tell what these politicians have. So I guess we'll watch that space. But fresh voter registration hits 10.4 million.
That's great.
10.4 million. So this is a lot of numbers.
Yeah, that's
but one
great.
wonders how many of these people will get their PVCs.
Well, that's another thing. That's a challenge for INEC. But it's so encouraging that Nigerians are taking this next election very, very seriously.
Largely young people.
Especially the young people. I can tell you that my son left home as early as 6 a.m. last week to ensure that he registered. He went the first day. He couldn't do it. He couldn't complete it because he started online. But he went the following day, in spite of the traffic and all of that, you know, because they were just serious about it. And mind you, you see, they are just voting for the first time. They are just entering that level. So they are very excited. And some of them that are tired about what is happening and they think their votes will count, they think they should register. But then the INEC is the one that we have to now call upon now, because it's one thing to register. It's another thing for you to even get your voter's card.
So now what they have is just that slip.
It's just
now
that
the
slip.
PVC is the main one.
The main thing,
has to give them.
Yes, they have to give it to them. So
INEC has a lot of time.
Yeah, and I even want to believe that the INEC will do the right thing, because at least we've seen some forms of improvements in INEC's activities, even going by what happened in Ekiti. So let's just give it to them that the body will ensure that these PVCs are ready, because they are also campaigning for people to register and all of that. We want to believe, but they just have to be on their toes, because we don't want to hear situations where very close to election, people will be talking about PVCs not being ready. And then afterwards, they will now tell us that there are thousands of PVCs, you know, that are uncollected.
But even now, there are thousands of PVCs that are uncollected.
Yes, I know. They are even saying that is it not Osun election that is about to hold? They are telling us that there are thousands that are not collected. So
they need to liberalize the collection points. Make it easy for people to pick up their PVCs wherever they are. And then let's see the data of uncollected PVCs across the spread of the country. Where do they have those PVCs not collected? Then why aren't they collecting it? Why did they collect more in some parts of the country and less in other parts?
Exactly.
So those are the things we should look at. So display the data, let's see them so we can interrogate this data. I think it will help a lot of people moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps another issue to discuss would be the percentage of voters over the years. That's not a matter for now.
Okay.
Nigerian News Direct has this one on its front page. Corruption allegation. Mixed reactions trail CJN's resignation as Buhari swears in Ariwola. That's what you have as lead of the paper. A lot has been said about that. Article comments erstwhile CJN's courage. Restore Nigeria's judiciary public confidence. But other lawyers will urge Ariwola. That story is on page 2. Well, it seems to be the transfer window. It's still open. Oyetola welcomes over 10,000 PDP members into APC. Wow. The transfer window, right?
Yeah, and one interesting headline I saw yesterday was Aregbesola slapped Oyetola. I said, Nigerians have started again. Which one is Aregbesola slapping Oyetola? But apparently, they are now together. You know, maybe just they hug themselves and he just gave him
slap on the back or something.
You know, so the transfer window is still open, like you said. And you know, Nigerians sometimes they just watch and find out where their bread will be buttered. They just do the analysis. If they look at it that, oh, it's like this APC is likely to win this time around, others will just rush in. And if they think that, oh, I think they are looking at Osun State for now, especially with the outcome of the presidential primary of the APC. They are, you know, people are already making their calculations. Everything is towards 2023. How do we become relevant and all of that? And we also need to talk about issues of ideology in our political system in this country.
Maybe that will be a matter for a completely different symposium, because that's definitely an endless one.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Look at this one also on the bottom of the page. Scarcity. FG to sanction airing fuel stations maintains 165 naira pump price. Are you comforted?
No, I am not. How can I be comforted? the FG that cannot stop fuel scarcity, the FG that cannot make fuel, the products available.
Yeah, they're the sole importers by way of NNPC.
Exactly. And you now tell a marketer who went about getting it anyhow to make sure that is in business, you are now saying that you should sell at 165 naira. You see, all these commandments and all of these orders and directives, they are not necessary. Just do the right thing. If fuel is available, you won't see it. If you put your own at 180 naira, you won't get customer now. So if it is available, there is no need for anybody to say it must be 165.
Okay. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at Vanguard for you, and they also have the story of the quitting CJN. Citing ill health, CJN quits after row with Supreme Court justices. Cite ill health, Justice Ariwola takes oath of office as acting CJN. Buhari confers GCON award on outgone CJN Mohammed. Allegations against ex-CJN will be probed. That's from Okocha SAN. MBA asks acting CJN to address ills plaguing judiciary. New CJN must declare state of emergency in judiciary. That's from a group called Access to Justice. Atiku comments Justice Mohammed's resignation, welcomes Ariwola. So you find all of the details on page 5 of the paper. Look at the story which we spoke about earlier. PDP gives OBJ 48 hours to clarify remarks on Atiku. And perhaps you've seen this. Organ donor claim, Ikweremadu wife, sue NIMSI, NIS, others. page 27 will give you the details. If you look on the corner here, Catholic communicators raise alarm over incessant killing of priests. Yes, at least 2 of them are reported killed in 2 different parts of the country. One in Kaduna over the weekend, and another one in Edo State. He was kidnapped and he was later murdered by his abductors. So you find details on page 12 of the paper. Look at this one. Ahmed Gulak, Imo police arrest suspected killers 1 year after. So it looks like all hope is not lost in terms of getting justice for those who might have lost their lives under very questionable circumstances, if the police are able to get 1 year after those who murdered Mr. Gulak.
Well, we also need to go beyond getting the suspected murderers into actually prosecuting them and getting them to pay for their sin. So we need to commend the police, for what they have done so far, and to also remind them of many other killings. The husband of the Akunyuli, the Professor Akunyuli's death, we still have it fresh, and so many other murders, particularly in that eastern part of the country. We need to also bring the perpetrators to book. So arresting, fine, but then when you also look at the time it took, 1 year, and you look at all the murder cases that are still unresolved, you just wonder how long it's likely to take to actually get the perpetrators to book and all of that. But we commend the police efforts, and we just wish them the best.
Well, on that note, we'll end it this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Bisi Deji-Folutile is the former editor of Punch and publisher FrankTalkNow. We're back in a moment. Stay with us.